What would you do if somebody looked you in the face every single day and called you stupid? Would you fight back, walk out, break down? This man did none of that. CDL driver, husband, father, built every system from nothing. No manual, no map, no support, and still someone had the nerve every single day. What he did next, no one saw it coming. B.L. Lewis on Disrupt and Discuss right now.
About that really bad supervisor called me stupid to my face every single day. And
What?
I used to just sit back and laugh and be like, yep, stupid.
We have another interview for you guys, and I hope you will enjoy. I most definitely feel that you will. Today, our guest is someone who embodies growth, grit, and grace. BL, or AKA B, isn't just a creator. He's a husband, he's a father, a poet, and a man who lived enough life to speak with real weight behind his words. He's gone from a CDL driver to GM, leading over 100 employees, you guys, in under 3 years. He's a published author. Some Days Are Better Than Others is his book. It'll be in the description for you guys. And he's currently writing a guide to help first-time fathers survive those early weeks of parenthood. You've seen him on TikTok as the daddy-ator. And if you follow his journey, you already know he's not about image. He's about impact. He talks fatherhood, therapy, ADHD, marriage, creativity, and all through the lens of a man still learning, healing, and leading by example. From witnessing pain early in life to turning that pain into purpose, B represents what this show is all about: disrupting cycles, discussing real life, and keeping it all the way authentic. So buckle up, because we're taking fatherhood, manhood, healing, and the fine arts of not giving a damn right here on Disrupt and Discuss. Family, welcome, B. Hey, B.
I wish I could have that for my obituary in the future.
It's going to be longer than that.
Oh, thank you. I try to give a good intro to our guests because we want you to feel welcome and we want you to feel like we feel they make impacts. I want to make sure that the people know who we're interviewing.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited.
I'm sitting here like, man, that guy sounds cool.
Yeah, who is he, huh? You want to meet him too?
I want to meet him. What does he look like?
We are so excited, like we said, to have you, and we want to walk through your life. I am going to give it over to the heavy hitter of the interview.
I paid you
Lady
well.
over there, Casey. Casey is going to lead us into all of this.
As always, I want to say thank you because I know you are very, very busy. For those that don't know you and for those that do, I will reintroduce them to you. Without further ado, if you can start us on the journey, and I'm ready for the ride.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you both. This is awesome. I am grateful to be here. I am B.L. Lewis, most importantly, a father of five, which some may or may not know. I have two biological, three bonus children. So that means my wife had three children before me. I make that distinction is pretty interesting because we've seen a lot of rhetoric online, especially with like Kevin Samuels, things like that. She is a mother of, when I came into the picture, she had three kids, three different fathers. And then I come in and now we have two. And by far, I tell you, she is the most amazing woman I have ever met. She's the most beautiful woman on the planet. No disrespect to y'all, but it should be that way.
None taken.
She
None
is the
taken at all.
most beautiful woman on the planet. And yeah, that's interesting just off of the rhetoric that they try to say that women who have kids, multiple fathers, are worthless. That is a total lie. So I stand on that. I put a ring on it and I forget my ring. I'm naked. I'm mad. I come back home and get it.
And that's your ass too. You know that, right?
She's cool about it. She knows me. She knows like I'm straight and narrow. She's cool. But I don't like it. I'm not having it. I have to his credit, I have my beat up ring that I wear if I'm having to do something in the garage. Or when I'm at the gym, I still have it on me. I'll put it on. I gotta keep a necklace and I'll put it on here so that I keep it. It's funny. So she's an influencer online and she's a way bigger influencer than I am.
Your wife?
Oh yeah, she's pretty big on TikTok.
Okay,
So,
well,
yeah,
you thinking what I'm thinking?
yeah, I'll connect you for sure because she has an incredible story. I'll talk to you about that off camera, but trust me, she's somebody who I think story is way more interesting than mine because of things that she experienced in her life, and for her to be this
Okay.
beyond beautiful person inside and out. I've seen people go corrupt for less. And so
Absolutely.
she's got a story. But it's funny, she's doing a video today talking about how often you'll see people who did the most simple, like marriage, didn't go all out and do all the crazy extreme, let's arrive in a helicopter and then jump on a horse and go down the aisle. Like the
Yeah.
ones who did the simple are usually the ones that are like, it's rooted in something.
Really?
The ones who went all the way out, there aren't a lot of them in there that are good, legitimate marriages based in love and compassion, things
Right.
like that. But all right, we did it simple. And for me, it was a straight up no brainer. It was no problem. A
Oh, I
big
did?
engagement, a public
Good.
display. So it was, I
I
couldn't
even
wait.
commented. I think I did a heart.
Look, we'll talk about ADHD. My working memory is
That's
about as
it.
good as a public
I'm,
toilet. So
I'm sure if I got
Did you say a
well,
public toilet?
well, here's the thing. If
Oh,
you're in
Lord.
Japan, that is an excellent brain because that is the cleanest place. So
well, we in
that's just
America,
here.
Jack.
Right?
Yeah. If you can use a bidet in America in a public toilet, God help you.
But I like the fact that that's one of her subjects that she's talking about on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
She goes against the grain, and we're that couple in general. It's not that we're intentionally trying to go against the grain, but what it is just being real about relationships. You see a lot of unrealistic expectations, and I would say young couples, but you see it in older couples too. And we're very big on getting to the root of certain things that need to be addressed. She'll say it. She knows me how I am with people out in public, people at my job.
Mhm.
I'm not rude, but I will tell you the truth, especially if it is a truth that helps to push us forward. And very early on in the relationship, like she did a video yesterday of how she's like how she almost lost her husband in the very beginning.
Mhm.
And she said I was on some BS, and most people think that's cheating, but what it was, no, we were in the midst of a conversation, and I was talking about just going over our history. Yeah, I dated this girl, and she was like a pretty girl, so other guys were interested in her. And the fact that I had mentioned that she was a pretty girl, this whole story is about how it didn't matter how pretty she was. I was out like within 2 weeks. I remember us having that original conversation of like, look, we're gonna have to have a mature conversation because that is a part of the story. Because it was one of those things that was like, okay, you're basically I was with like the it girl at this place, and she wasn't used to guys just saying, hey, I drew a boundary, I'm out. She got upset about that, and then it was like we had to have a whole conversation. And I'm like, look, you can't be getting jealous over somebody that I left because I'm choosing you. One of the things I do
Correct.
take pride in is she's like, you are by far the best dater that I've ever been with, just off of the strength of, yeah, I'm still in the game. I'm still trying to surprise you. I still want it to be, obviously, want it to be a good time, want it to, most importantly, taste good. We go out somewhere.
Absolutely.
But I am big on that. And then when, like I said, when holidays do come around, I do something, but I'm not a big holiday person. If anything, if I do something big, it's because I know that she hadn't experienced somebody kind of going out of their way on certain holidays and doing things. So I definitely got a chip on my shoulder in some areas. I'm trying to avenge my wife to where I feel like, yeah, they should have been taking you and doing this kind of stuff. And I'm glad they didn't because I can step in and do it. But
Yeah.
I got a chip on my shoulder on that.
I'm switching gears. In your job as a GM, what I'm hearing you do in the household, is that similar to how you run your ship, so to speak? Like executive summary kind of things. Is that because, again, you're running a lot and you need to be as concise as possible. I've come from the hospital field as well. Everything has its bullet points. So is that how you run your job as well?
I would say I believe in structure. So absolutely, like with my job, there's definitely I have things laid out and I focus on like synergy. So I focus on trying to make things flow together as seamless as possible. And then I'm always trying to figure out how can I make this job, like certain jobs, quicker. Because some things just take a long time to do with my job. And it can be incredibly stressful if you don't create systems in the front end so that
Absolutely.
down the road, as I'm molding this system and adapting as I go, it starts to get quicker, more efficient, overall get better. And I would say, I don't even think that's just work. I think that is my life in general. That's that ADHD superpower coming in.
That's where I'm going. Now with the E thing, I have it too because I'm structured. Even when I'm
Yeah.
taking notes, I have to fold the paper in half and it has to be like a
Mm-hmm.
rectangle. I don't have the whole sheet because I need to focus on certain things. So that's what I got when I heard you talking about the structure of your home life. I said, well, you can't just have it there. I'm sure this bleeds either into the home life or bleeds into your work life. So still on the thing about your work life, how did you even get to, I'm still surprised. And again, like I said, it's not a disrespect surprise. I'm more of an admiration how you became GM. What made you start even getting into that field? Because when I knew of you, you were doing fitness training. So now you're GM. Where
That's
Right. I
that's
feel the same
360.
way. I'm with you. I feel the same way. I don't know how we got here. But what happened? So when I was training, right? So I went from doing in the gym to primarily online training, and I had clients in
Okay.
9 different states, and that was great.
Damn.
I enjoyed it. But that actually started because there's these stigmas about trainers, the stigmas about gyms, especially in Black gyms, unfortunately. Like the trainers trying to mess around with the clients and all this inappropriate stuff goes on. That really goes on in the gym. And so I was the one that was the righteous one that was like, nope. And it was so bad to the point, like I remember I had a client, I knocked 100 pounds off of her, who was very anxious about being in the gym. And so I remember taking her outside in front of the gym to sit down and meditate. One of the other trainers was like, haha, hey, bro, knowing that I'm in a relationship, right? This is with the first mother of my child. I see you, bro, out there, trying to, no, 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 no. I was actually legitimately teaching this woman to meditate so that she would be able to be calm and to come back into the gym. And she went through an amazing journey and is still on a journey and doing great. But when there was so much sexual harassment in the gym that I used to say, we are one pissed off woman from a Me Too case happening. The only reason this ain't happened is because this is a gym full of Black women. Because if it been white women, all it takes is one of them pay attention to it and the news is going to show up. It's unfortunate. I hate that is the case.
And then
I
there
really
would be
hate that
strings.
is right. It irritated me because it's normalized in our community that it's like, oh, it ain't that big of a deal. Some of them seen the stuff going on and they still were just like, shoot, I'm getting my training in anyway. And it was like really messed up stuff going on. It's like you're watching people screwing around, and then the wife is here too, who's a real good down to earth person. I'm watching this stuff, and it took one of the trainers to holler at a woman who came to train with me. She was coming in town for something, and she wanted to train with me because she knew she would be safe. Backstory was she was, I don't know if I can say the R word, but she was raped.
Great.
She was raped by one of the trainers in her hometown. He was young, and she's from a small town, and so this is when they were younger. And so the only gym in her town happens to be the gym that he runs. She had watched my journey online. She had been doing her thing too. I had a little fitness group online. So she wanted to come in and train with me. I'm like, you're going to be safe. And then one of the trainers I found out slid in her DM and said something inappropriate. I feel totally uncomfortable. So I told them if they don't change this, I'm ripping my poster off the wall. I'm poster back over there. I'm ripping the poster off the wall and I'm going to do my own thing. Hours later, somebody does it again. So
2 hours?
Yep. And I tore the poster down. So then I went to online training, converted I was training them online and I was training them in my apartment gym. That was limited. You go from having a full scale gym with all kind of cool tools to like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I probably got more here than that gym had, but doing online. And I have a child, and my mom used to call me Mr. Mom because when we had this child, the mother of my child, let's just say this, I always knew she was selfish before. And you would think after having a child, that would change your perspective. And so as soon as she had the baby, I was on duty with him 24/7. I'm running the bit, and that's where fatherhood is such a big thing. And I was even showing my son a picture. What was it last night? And was looking at the pictures, and I was explaining to him. I go, "You like, doesn't Dad look happy?" He's, yeah. I was like, "Dad actually was not happy. He was going through something." But I wanted to make sure because he was a very happy baby. I wanted to make sure that what I was going through didn't rub off on him. He was he's still a super happy kid, but I was going through it because she wasn't helping. That leads to why I have the primary custody today. But
that's unfortunate that, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
That's nowadays, I don't know what the numbers are statistically, but women in general are not natural nurturers. You assume that just because a woman, if she gets pregnant, that maternal instinct is going to kick in, but more so nowadays, it is not so much the case. Women are not natural nurturers anymore.
I can tell you this, my wife is an amazing mother. It's just funny because when I'm doing things with the baby and stuff, I remember when we were doing the registry, I was like, make sure the changing table is tall enough for me too. And she's like, why?
Now, what is the height difference?
I'm 5'11", she's 5'2".
Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
When I got on shoes, I'm 6 foot with shoes on for sure.
Right.
So she's tight. She's little. When we're standing next to each other, she's little. Yeah.
What we used to call Mutt and Jeff because Aaron is 6'1" and I'm not.
I've seen pictures of y'all next to each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or maybe it was on. It might have been when we were on FaceTime and training them.
Yes.
And I think you may have popped in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he's a pretty tall. I think taller than me. But yeah, so fast forward, I was with the changing table just so that I would be able to change the baby too. And she's like, she didn't expect the guy she was with never changed the diaper. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Changing the diaper is because my son's Zane, my biological son Zane. It was everything. It was bad. I didn't Like I remember my mother and then his other grandmother saying, like, can we get him? Because I was just in such a protective mode. It was like it didn't matter if I had to go do something. Guess what? I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna bring him over there so I can run to the store. Like, nope, I brought him with me. And if I wanted to go train, guess what? I brought him with me. And I had him in his little pumpkin seat off to the side. He's covered up away from the germs, but he's here. So it was one of those things that was full time, and that ended up being the detriment of my business though, because I had him 24/7 and literally 24/7. She would come in, see that I'd had him all day. She'd come in from doing her job and kiss us both on the cheek and go back and Netflix and chill. And I would think I've had him this entire time. You take him, spend some time with him, at least 8 hours he's been with me. And that wouldn't be the case. And so I got him there. And then with that business, it just sometimes led into the night because I've got clients on the West Coast. I'm in the Midwest. So it's a total different time zone. And then it just trying to perfect it. It ended up being a thing where it's like, okay, I'm trying to keep up. But now at this point, assessing the situation, I'm like, you're not really helping me with the baby. You're not really helping me around here, the house either. You would think, okay, if I'm manning this, then wash some bottles or something to help out. And not that's your exclusive job. Key words are help out.
Right.
I'm willing to help and do what we got to do. I don't believe the roles is just you got to get in there and wash them dishes. No, I get in there and wash some dishes, but you hold the baby, so I can do that. The business started to go down because in the training industry, you have to continuously get clients because people you can have a full roster and then 1 month and you look up half of that is gone for reasons other than
Man,
just
when money
quitting.
gets funny, certain things
Yeah,
got to go. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, I had a client, a guy who I had set up to go, and he broke 2 of his toes like the day before.
Oh, wow.
Had another one that was due to training, and they went to the hospital having chest pains, and they figured out they had congestive heart failure. This was pandemic. There were some people that were losing their jobs,
Right.
or they get COVID or something, and then it just annihilates their lungs for a while. And it's like I can't do
Right.
anything. I'm in the hospital, so it was stuff like that going on. And then on top of, I would literally be training people virtually. I got him here, and he's crying, doing whatever, and I'm trying to close new clients and have, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta hold it.
Right. But
So
that's not necessarily professional either, having.
Most were understanding because most were women.
Right.
And so they were like, no, no. And they even looked at it like, we appreciate that dad who's that involved with his kid, not knowing I'm not just doing this right now. This is what I have to do all the time. I wish it wasn't that case at the time. But so business that was doing this starts doing this. And then I start to not keep up. I'm dealing with depression at this point because the relationship now is totally going down the drain. And then fast forward, it ends up being like the ship is sinking. Like I tried to stay on the Titanic to the very last piece was going down. And I was like, okay, if it was just me, I probably would go down with it and try to swim. But I've got a baby now. So that's how I got into the transportation industry. I started driving this, got my CDL. I had no interest in driving buses or anything like that. Ended up getting my CDL.
Now you guys have unions with that too, right?
This is non-union.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just knew you were going to say yes, but wow.
Yeah, so ours is non-union, but some of, for the company I work for, some of the other contracts are union. So it just really depends. It's a global organization.
Okay.
So just my location is non-union.
So did you come in as a driver? Did you come in as a driver or did you come in as so you promoted to a GM?
Yep. The funny thing is I started with a city bus, which is a different organization. Love that job. But the problem was the schedule was horrific. You didn't know your schedule until you called like the day before, basically. I left and this other business pretty much was like, hey, come on in. You got your CDL. So I started as a driver. Within a couple months, I got promoted to the premium position that handles the VIPs. And it's a really cool position. I got to drive up to these airplanes at an airport, pick up pilots and take them to where they were going on the property. And it's cool because you literally get to drive right up to these giant 747s. Sometimes the engines are running and you feel the force just coming through these things. And then you get to talk to pilots whose stories are so unrelatable because these guys are just swimming in dough and they're like, yeah, I'm going to fly down to Florida this weekend and we're going to go catch some lobsters and bring them back. And just, I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm going to go to Denny's this weekend.
But at Grand Slam, right?
My weekend's going to be fire.
So not only did you pick up pilots, did you pick up celebrities too sometimes if you're driving right up?
Nope.
Just pilots.
Yeah, just pilots. So originally it was picking up employees for the company because it's at an airport. And so then I went to picking up pilots, which was, like I said, it was a great job. Then I was having some problems with some of the employees who were technically on the same level, but a step up dispatchers, I'll say that. And so it got to a point where I was writing a letter to HR because not only was dispatchers, it was supervisors. There was a couple supervisors that were incredibly corrupt, doing things that got them walked up out of here after being here for a long time. It's just nobody had ever accurately reported it. Finally, it got to the powers to be, and they ended up walking them out. Right, right. It was bad. So I had a letter drafted that I was going to send. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up out of here because I'm watching how they're impacting people. Very easy job. But the way that they impacted people, it just had everybody stressed out, people outside of work stressed out. And I know what my other drivers are going through. And then I know what I'm going through.
Right.
Are y'all making it difficult in this job? And I'll tell you, it's easy. Literally, I could take y'all today out there and train you, and you'll be doing the job in an hour on your own, no CDL. Very easy job. But their job is easy. So the thing is, a supervisor position opened up, and it was the supervisor had just quit. It wasn't one of the bad ones either. He just didn't care about the job. So he was bad in one sense, but he was a nice guy. He just didn't do anything. And then one day he just decided not to show up. And so that position opened up, and I remember thinking like, okay, here's an opportunity to be a part of the problem. I have drafted this whole letter that I know will get their attention because I have outlined all the issues here that are, we just fix these simple things that'll not only make this more efficient, but it'll boost the morale of the people who work here. And that position opened up, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I'll go ahead and apply. I ended up getting the position, and then I became a supervisor. The shift was supposed to be like the worst shift. And I remember my first few days, it was tough because it's just a tough crowd. Drivers are tough. You want to, that thick skin thing we were talking about in the beginning. You got to have thick skin to talk to drivers, because I remember on my first day I walk up and I'm just introducing myself to the drivers. And one of the guys, I walk up and I go, hey, I'm gonna make up a name. Hey, Mr. Johnson, excuse me. He goes, what? And I'm just walking up to introduce myself. Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you. The thing is, though, I got it, because these same people months later, and maybe even a year later, year later, was throwing me an appreciation party.
Wow.
To where they hooked me up to where it was like, dang, I ain't never got hooked up like that. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if they think because my shoes was messed up or what, but they literally put some J's on my feet. It was a potluck. They had balloons set up the table, everything. It was a surprise. And they were appreciating me. And it felt really good because there was only she's younger than me. And then there was one other person younger than me. So I'm a baby. The average age of people at my job is 50s, 60s. People that know my parents. And then our oldest was 87 years old. So I'm the baby. He passed away last year. And let me tell you, that was my dude. I love him. He was funny too. I'll tell you what's funny about him. He's an 87-year-old. He's an older white man. He had a 50-something-year-old black woman who was nice looking for his girlfriend. do I think she was using him? Yeah. I also think it was one of the Bill Withers things. Use me till you use me up.
Okay, all right.
But what was funny about him is he would be on his phone, and the man had Facebook, he had TikTok, and he was
technology for it.
He was a real 87-year-old man. He looked good for 87. No, he was 87 and a half. He was a real 87 years old. And I used to mess with him because he would talk crazy to you, but he had an amazing sense of humor. And I used to be like, dang, man, I can see your Facebook messages all the way from across the room because he has me this big.
Only got 3 letters in the screen, but you'll figure it out.
Take your 15 minutes to read a sentence. Lord.
That was my dude. But when I tell you what, he was tough as nails. Every day he came in, I go, how's it going, Mr. Such? And he go, I feel like hell. But he got on that bus, never complained. And I remember giving him some criticism at one time because everybody was thinking oh, he ain't gonna say nothing to him because he's older. I'm coaching everybody. And he used to drive so slow. This was my dude. I love him.
He was still a driver?
He was a driver. And people would complain when he would come. People are rude. They see him pull up and I would be on his bus doing observation and they would be like, yeah, because he drove slow. I remember telling him, I said, hey, you do a great job. I appreciate you, but I need you to speed up just a little bit. Put your foot on the gas just a little bit. And he looked over and he said, I'm 87 years old. I went, fair enough. I tried, but he would be like, these people are driving so fast and they're going the speed limit. And he was the one that was going 5 everywhere. You see a bus that literally is just
you can walk faster than he could drive.
Squirrels passing him.
Driving still, man. Shit.
He could do the job, and that's a big thing for me is I don't put people where they can't go. And so I had him on the most simple route, and I had him do that same route over and over and over again, and he could do that route. It's just that he drove slow.
He just drove slow. Okay.
I figured he needed it. He wouldn't be here if he didn't need it. As long as he was, it came a point where there was a couple times he was like, was he getting to that point where we maybe need to go ahead and pull him off, and then he would straighten up and do better. But I really didn't want to get rid of him at all just because he was, you would talk about rugged. This man, even in his final days, I'm with him in the hospital trying to figure out how to get back to driving.
Wow.
Yeah, this man, he had to get a leg amputated, and he was like, I can still drive. And I go, you would
Oh
scare the living
Lord.
hell out of everybody if I get you on that bus with one leg. And he's like, I know, it's worth a try. But
Wow.
It's already no
yeah,
if you don't ask, I guess, huh?
Right?
I mean, this obituary came up on my phone the other day, got emotional because that was my guy. It was fun.
Wow. So when you talk about having this 87-year-old and you being like supervisor over all these different generations of folks, right? For them to give you that appreciation, that shows your impact on
Absolutely.
their life and what you were doing. So that speaks volumes. Talk to us about what it was that you did that made what you did so impactful to them.
Coming in as you would imagine, and then most of them look like you and me, all of us, right? It was black folks. So as you imagine, I came in, they like, we ain't listening to this young dude. Like this little boy, we are not listening to him. One of the things that I trained, right? You can understand that. One of the things I made sure to do was to not only lead with respect, also my first plan of duty. I think people make a mistake with this is when you go into transition to leadership, you come in and just start changing stuff. And even though
Man,
Major wrong move.
reinventing
and
the
that's
wheel.
written reinventing well, and that's written hundreds of years ago. That's Niccolo Machiavelli. You can't come in and just start changing stuff.
Right.
Right.
And so I came in, and instead, my primary focus, because I knew some of the stuff that needed to change, but my primary focus was not only research, but it was also making sure that I am building relationships with these people. So what I did was I got on their bus and I would just ride with them, and I'm talking to them, getting to know what they care about. Tell me about your family. Oftentimes, when I'm walking up to people, and I'm not saint, so it's not like everybody loves me. I'm pretty sure there's people that don't like me. Usually, it's the ones that don't know me or haven't really taken the chance to get to know me. I'm okay with that. The ones that I've gotten to know, and especially in that supervisor position where I'm directly with them. Oh, I got on the buses, rode, talked to them. You got family, you got pets. So then every time I talk to them, I'm able to say, well, how's your wife? How's such and such? And I know their names. But your dog is in the hospital. How's your dog? God knows I really don't care about dogs and stuff like that. I'm not
But
animal,
Right.
that's
but you care
huge.
about it.
That's
Yeah.
huge right there.
Right.
And so I gained the trust of them. But then also, one of the things that they weren't doing for some reason was they weren't having meetings. And so in these meetings, I did one of the guys that I look up to is Coach John Wooden, passed away, NCAA legend, most winningest coach in NCAA history. I'm not a basketball person at all. I dribble like a toddler, right? I was football and wrestling. Like there we can do something. But John Wooden, what he coached, we all know one of his most famous people that he coached, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that was his coach in college. And as you see, he was an extraordinary man off the court as well. That's what Coach John Wooden did. He only taught the basics of basketball. And when I say the basics, he taught them their first practice was a lesson on tying their shoes. Because if you don't tie your shoes correctly, you'll be on the court fumbling with your shoelaces. And so his first lesson was tying your shoe. And these are college level kids, so they're looking like, is this guy smoking crack? Like, we know how to tie our shoes, right? But he focused at free throws, right? He focused only on the essentials of basketball, but the main thing that he focused on with his players was character building. And so in my meetings, you guys all know how to drive. This is a super easy job. You pretty much, no matter where you're at, you're driving in a circle for 8 hours. You get 2 breaks in addition to your lunch. Other than that, you are pretty much driving the same route, rinse and repeat over and over on a private road. Now let's focus on some of the things that will not only make you a better employee, but will make you a better person outside of here. And so I focused on teaching and still do to this day, focus on teaching character. My meetings are super real. I'll go over safety. Hey, make sure you guys are putting on your seatbelts. Make sure that you are at a complete stop when people are loading and unloading and you got the bus in park. Don't pull off until everybody's seated. Okay, cool. Now that we got that out of the way, let's focus on attitude. Because some of you guys come in here, it's a super easy job and you make it a hard job because you brought in your funky attitude from something that happened outside of work. The matter is, we are all going through something, and I'm not invalidating you and saying what's going on outside of work doesn't matter. What I am saying is that the thing that you do have control over is your attitude.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
bring a better attitude in here. And there are people here who are more than happy to talk to you about what's going on outside of work. Some of you guys are friends and things like that, and that's cool. You guys talk about that. But when we're working together, we need to be professional. Don't bring that attitude here, especially you, man, and Ray done got into it outside of work. And I talk to them just like that. I done had a couple of meetings where it's, look, I'm the youngest person in this room, and y'all are acting like some teenagers. Y'all bickering and arguing and going back and forth. Y'all should be embarrassed by doing that. You know what I mean?
Very relatable. Very relatable.
I don't go into the sugarcoat, the corporate talk. I'm gonna talk to you like I would. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you like I would talk to anybody else that I care about. Because my friends know I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and I am compassionate. I'm not trying to come in and destroy your emotions and make you feel bad. But hey, we need to act like some adults in here. Ain't no reason why we got 30 people in here and y'all arguing over the radio about nothing. You're mad at this person because you don't like the way they looked at you. So what?
Yeah.
So
Right.
what?
Right.
Well, how does that? You gonna let that impact your bag?
Right.
You gonna let that impact your money? No, I don't care if they look at me all crazy, don't like me. Guess what? That ain't got nothing to do with how I drive this bus.
Okay.
My
Right.
passengers get on. I'm gonna say, hey, good morning. You go ahead and get on. And the thing that I can use too is I did your job. So you can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about because I did your job.
That
Right.
part there. Exactly. He's like, what
And
does that
they
have to do with the price of tea in China?
right.
You need some money, don't you?
I think the problem sometimes with some of the supervisors, because now I'm over the supervisors. I think
Mhm.
some of the problems that happen with some of the supervisors, and we've seen them come and go, is they want to avoid conflict. And the thing is, there is when you're in a management position, there's necessary conflict. Trust
Yep.
me, I don't like having to get in between people and say, you be an adult, you be an adult, or one of you is not going to have a job. I don't like
Right.
having to say that. But sometimes you have to go in
It's
and
needed
get in
sometimes.
the middle.
Yep.
Right.
It
Right.
sucks. You're going to be the bad guy. You're going to have to
Right.
assign people to do a route or something they don't want to do. And oftentimes, instead of just pulling them to the side, which makes all the difference, and saying just, hey, I know you don't like this route. The fact of the matter is, you're the only one here today that can do that route and can do it well. Like supervisors won't do that. They'll just a person will just be mad because they're on a route and they just let them go and don't have a conversation or something like that. Simple as
Right.
that can boost the morale of somebody and make them want to do the work. My philosophy was try to be the leader that makes them want to come to work and do their job because you can't force grown people to do nothing.
Right.
So you might
Right.
as well try to influence them in a way that makes them want to do a good job.
I think too, because you're at work more than you're at home. So you got to make the best of it. You really do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to
That's why
switch
I'm not
back
in
over.
corporate now.
I'm gonna sum that up. So I was a supervisor. I became a supervisor for one part of the operation. Then that person got walked up out of here. Which funny story about that? That really bad supervisor called me stupid to my face every single day. And I
What?
used to just sit back and laugh and be like, "Yep, stupid." Exactly it. And you're talking about somebody, who's reading. That year I read 50 books, and I
Yeah,
would just,
I saw you.
yep, I would just sit back and agree, like, "Yep, I am stupid." And the moment they, escorted her out, I took her desk and moved it, and that was the desk.
Whoa.
Put my
You
feet.
see
Yeah, she.
her?
Yeah, she. Her.
Now that's a twist. I wouldn't have,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that would have been a man saying that to
You
you.
really think a man will be able to look me in my face and call me stupid to my face every day, and we not
Wait,
address this outside of work?
so wait. That's a masculine behavior though. Would you not agree?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So my assumption would be correct. I understand what you're saying about you, but
I'm
I'm still
cool.
taken aback.
I'm cool, but I ain't that cool. Bro,
Right.
we got folded up outside of work, and we would have came back. They were like, "Dang, what happened to you?" And I'd be like, "Dang, what happened to you?"
That's this job.
Nah, I wouldn't get paid that much to take. Not from no man. No, no. I ain't
And
big for no reason. Got the bag right there, locked and loaded right now at home.
He said,
Yeah, no.
do you actually believe there was no furniture moving if that was a man?
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't have did it at work.
move past that one.
Right.
Mark on that.
But okay, so then I had experience running one of the other shifts, and then the position. It was so funny. I used to butt heads hard with the previous GM because, truth be told, that person who called me stupid every day, they were supposed to train me at the supervisor position.
Oh
They
wow.
they never did. So when I got there, they taught me how to do the basic schedule. Everything else I had to figure out. And the guy who was in the position before did nothing. So he didn't even have paperwork in there that I could look over and
Oh
piece things
man. No
together.
templates?
I had 30 drivers of my own that I didn't know what route they could do. So we've got multiple routes. And the dispatcher knew the routes, but he knew them in his head of what everybody could do. So I had to go and create a system. So I created an online system that is the model for what the supervisors use now. It's an interactive system to where they can go, okay, I need a driver that works on this day and can drive this route. And all they got to do is click down Thursday and red, which is one of our routes. And then they can see all the drivers that can do that on Thursday on the red. Or our dispatchers out for the day, who can do dispatch? All I got to do is click dispatch in the system. When I tell you this place was like dinosaur, they had everything was on paper and then the papers was missing. Once again, my stuff, I came in and didn't have anything. And then nothing was on paper as it pertains to like the stuff that like there was some stuff on paper, but when it came to us training people, you got new employees, all of it was word of mouth. Somebody would get
Oh
trained,
man.
like you would come into work and then the supervisor would be like, hey, you're training today. And so what? And so yeah, we got new employees, I need you to train. And then you teach them to the best of your ability. But then I was good at training people, but some people were not good at training people because they know how
Right.
to do their job, but they're not good at
Right.
teaching how to do the job.
And
Change all
so
that.
no standard
Now,
operating procedures.
so what I did was then I created the paperwork for all that. So I created the training manual. I took that time from my supervisor. I altered that job. So in that time, I was taking courses on things that I didn't understand. So I was taking online courses on leadership. I was reading books, but then also I started creating a instruction manual not only for the new employees for when they came in, but also I started working on them for the supervisors as well, just in case one of the supervisors leave, because I knew I was going to have to be the one training them. So I wanted to give them the most thorough thing. It wasn't that I was thinking maybe move up, because as far as I knew, the guy ahead of me, he wasn't going anywhere, and he was an absolute tyrant. I could tell he was threatened by me. He was never at work. So oftentimes, like, he's the guy I report to. So I'm new in his position and I need help, and I'm calling him. I can't get in contact with
He's
him.
on
Hey, there's a
vacation for 5 years. Didn't you know that?
this is
No,
the
I'm
sad
kidding.
thing is this is a different company, but he treated it like that. He was gone, and I would call him and I'd be like, hey man, there was a bus shut down on the bridge. I got the police here. They're telling me it needs to move, and none of the mechanics are here because it's the weekend. I can't tell. I haven't been given any instructions on it. I don't know if I can just call the tow company or what. Man, I was at my son's AAU game. Okay, but you're the one that's in charge. I need you to help me. So me and him butted heads, because from that point on, I learned, okay, he's not gonna help me. So I need
Not at
to
all.
start to learn how to help myself, figure out solutions. And I would reach out to him. He wouldn't get back to me. So I do what I thought was the best thing to do. And then he'd come
Mhm.
back and be mad at me because I made a decision that was a good decision, but it wasn't a decision that he would do.
Right,
Eventually,
right.
this guy, he was a straight D. He ended up getting fired. And then that position came open. And I told the big guy ahead of him, hey, this is what I've done, and I documented everything. So every like observation, you had to go out and observe the drivers and stuff. Every single one I did, I documented, because I was like, I'm gonna have my stuff ready to go just in case this thing open up. Because the drivers that I've been working with, older drivers, was like, man, you could run this operation. They hated that dude. They were like, you could run this, man. You need to be the one in charge. And they knew I was holding it down for the shifts on each side of me, because that one was an older guy and he passed away last year, and then the other one was that crazy lady that got walked up out of here. So oftentimes too, their employees were coming to me, even though I was dead in the middle of their shift, because the older guy, he was senile, and he was old. Like, he would say some stuff that like have you ready to knuckle up. He was just an old dude.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, she, of course, I described her. And so they would
Yes.
come to me for everything. And so it was this thing of like, dude, you can run this. Like, Brendan needs to be running this. He needs to be running this. So when that position opened up, I told the big eye regional, hey, this is what I've done. When I had that spreadsheet, I had my case ready to go. This is how many observations I did, right? I had over
Mhm.
300 something observations in that, just in
Wow.
a year's time. This is how many conversations I've had, just corrective action, things like that. And some of them not bad. Some of them are just coaching. This is what I've done here. Look at this. I created maps. They didn't even have maps for the routes. So I
How you
created
not have maps
maps.
for the routes?
It was all word of mouth. It was all, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this. And then what was crazy is some of the stops have different names. So it would be, some people know
Lord.
it as stop, let's say stop two, and then some people would call it the green door. Or some people would I mean, like the awning, like it would just be different names. So I organized it to where, no, we have one central name for each of these stops. So we're not going to call it 10 different things. I designed a map. So when new people come in, they have a map so they can take it home and they can learn it. I had the paperwork that described the function of the job, describe what you're supposed to do at the start of the day, at the end of the day, describing pre-trip, post-trip, things like that. Here's how you do your job, essentially. And then here's some fun facts
Yes,
about that.
yeah.
Once I showed him that, it became a thing where he was like, okay, well, let me see how you do on this. And then he started slowly but surely giving me jobs to do, because when nobody's in that position, he has to do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so slowly but surely, he started giving me these tasks, and I knock it out. I kill it. He said, give it back to me in a couple of days. I give it back to him the same day. No errors on it. I was trying my hardest to make sure he could recognize that, like, I'm going to be the one. And so when that position opened up, I had to go through several layers of interviews. I had to talk to the vice president. It was a couple
How?
of big
Why?
names.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you took
Why?
the
My
I was
HR, okay, my HR brain is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now.
Mhm.
How did you have to go through that much when you literally being resilient? Because I'm going to give you your props. You were resilient
Mhm.
and taking something from nothing. And they have the nerve to interview you, take you through 7 rounds of interviews when they went from paper to electronic.
The thing is,
Flintstones to the Jetsons. Come on now.
right. Here's the thing. We are a small little branch of a global organization.
Okay.
And so, as you would imagine, it's pretty hard for them to keep tabs, especially when they're in the business of just acquiring these businesses that are profitable, and let them do their own thing essentially. But we're still your parent company. So it's one of those relationships of like, locally, everybody there knew who I was,
Right.
a regional. However, those guys there had no clue who I was. This
Gotcha.
organization's got like, the global organization's got like 140 some thousand employees. They're massive.
That's
So
still
when that
asinine that that little piece right there was still paper pushing for a global company.
you will
That's
be
crazy.
amazed. You will be amazed what it is. I'm a millennial, right? And a lot of these positions, some of these people are several decades older than I am, and they put things in place that work for them. And I'm not mad at them because some of them do
Right.
a hell of a job with pen and pad. We had a recruiter that was cold, and I don't think she would know how to turn a computer on. But when I tell you she had folks rolling in, I don't know how she did it. She was cold. That was my lady. She was cold. Yeah, I know people like that too who cannot, like phones and stuff. They can't check their voicemail. But when it comes towards whatever their function is, they are
They
the
can
best
do
at
it.
it.
Right.
And when you're like that, I'll leave you alone. Like I'm digital, you are analog.
Right.
So you are the OG. Respect.
Wow.
Respect. Wow.
So then it ended up I got the position, and it was a risk because nobody has lasted in the position long. I am now approaching being in the position longer than I've seen it. This is the first time. So our office, that whole office over there, this is the first time that whole office is colored. And when I say colored, I'm not using it in a derogatory term. How they got mad at Tyler, which I'm mad. I'm mad they treated her like that because she's from South Africa. I was mad. She was like, "We're colored people," and they're like,
I get what you're, man, we can have that conversation. But
"Yeah." I'm like, "Come on, she's from a different part of the world." That's what they say over there. But I say colored because it's not only black folks. One of our
right.
guys is from Venezuela, right? And this is the first time that whole office is color. So what was cool is my assistant, even though I wasn't in a position to hire her, I'm the one that pushed her into play. So the guy that was over me needed a new assistant, and he came even though he didn't ask me for nothing. He couldn't stand me, but he came and asked, "Who do you think would be the best one for that position?" And I go, "Look, this is my right hand on my shift. She trains everybody. She does an excellent job. Shows up to work, no excuses." And it was cool because it just so happened to be a black woman, and pushed her into the position. She gets that position. I take the position. That's my assistant. And we're family. That is my family. So
I love
it's
that.
cool. Yeah, our office, it'd be crazy at the other office, but our office is cool because we're over at the big office, at the smaller office over there, which is we call it the dispatch office. And they come in, they're not really in there, they're driving. So yeah, so that's how I ended up in that position. And
Okay.
so